How SMEs in Egypt could survive the quarantine and lockdown for 18 months. Introduction. The COVID-19 pandemic has been a shock for businesses all over the world, and Egypt is no exception. With the country in lockdown and many businesses forced to close their doors, it's hard to see how SMEs in Egypt could survive for 18 months. But there are some steps that businesses can take to weather the storm. In this blog post, we will explore how SMEs in Egypt can survive the quarantine and lockdown for 18 months. From diversifying your product range to adapting your marketing strategy, read on for our top tips. The current situation of SMEs in Egypt. The current situation of SMEs in Egypt is dire. With the country under lockdown and businesses closed, many SMEs are struggling to survive. Some have been able to adapt and continue operating through online platforms or delivery services, but others have not been so lucky. The lack of cash flow and customers has put immense pressure on small businesses, with many having to lay off staff or even close down entirely. The future looks uncertain for SMEs in Egypt, but there are some steps that could be taken to help them weather the storm. The possible solutions for SMEs to survive the quarantine and lockdown. SMEs in Egypt are currently facing an uphill battle as the country goes into lockdown to prevent the spread of COVID-19. With many businesses forced to close their doors, SMEs are struggling to keep their head above water. The situation is made worse by the fact that most SMEs in Egypt do not have access to the same financial resources as larger businesses. However, all is not lost. There are a number of possible solutions for SMEs to survive the quarantine and lockdown. These include 1. Reducing expenses. One of the first things SMEs should do is take a close look at their expenses and see where they can cut back. This may involve making some tough decisions, but it is crucial for surviving the lockdown period. 2. Making use of technology. Technology can be a powerful tool for SMEs during this time. From using social media to reach customers, to setting up online ordering systems, there are many ways technology can help SMEs stay afloat. 3. Offering flexible payment terms. Many customers will be struggling financially during this time. As such, offering flexible payment terms, such as payment plans or extended deadlines, can help increase sales and keep cash flow flowing. 4. Applying for government support. In many countries, including Egypt, governments are offering support packages for businesses affected by COVID-19. This support could come in the form of loans, grants or tax breaks. The challenges faced by SMEs. SMEs in Egypt are facing a number of challenges during the quarantine and lockdown period. Firstly, many businesses have been forced to close their doors due to the restrictions on movement and gathering of people. This has resulted in a loss of income for many SMEs, which could impact their ability to survive in the long term. Secondly, the lockdown has also meant that many SMEs are unable to access the resources they need to continue operating. This includes things like raw materials, supplies and even employees. With so many businesses closed, it can be difficult for SMEs to find these things on the open market. Lastly, the quarantine period has put a lot of stress on SME owners and employees. Many people are struggling to cope with the increased workload and responsibility that comes with running a business during this time. This can lead to burnout and other mental health issues, which can further impact the ability of SMEs to survive in the long term. The role of the government in supporting SMEs during the quarantine and lockdown. The Egyptian government has taken a number of measures to support SMEs during the quarantine and lockdown. 1. The government has waived taxes and fees for SMEs for 3 months. 2. The government has also provided interest-free loans to SMEs. 3. The government has launched an online portal to help SMEs connect with buyers and suppliers. 4. The government has also set up a hotline to provide advice and guidance to SMEs. The government's role in helping SMEs. The Egyptian government has announced a range of measures to help small and medium enterprises, SMEs, survive the lockdown and quarantine period. The government has decided a Range House Solution Egypt outdoor campaign by Intasher. These include a 3-month moratorium on loan repayments for all SMEs, a 50% reduction in rent for all commercial premises owned by the government, a fund of 100 million Egyptian pounds to support SMEs affected by the crisis, exemption from customs duties on imported raw materials and equipment needed for production. The options available for SMEs. There are many ways for SMEs to survive the quarantine and lockdown. The most important thing is to keep cash flow positive and have enough reserves to cover expenses. 1. Revenue streams. Diversify your revenue streams as much as possible. This will help you weather any downturn in one or more of your industries. 2. Cut costs. Take a close look at your expenses and see where you can cut costs. This is especially important if your revenue has decreased. 3. Increase efficiency. Use this time to increase efficiency in your business. This can help you save money and make better use of your resources. 4. Cash reserves. Make sure you have enough cash reserves to cover unexpected expenses or a decrease in revenue. 5. Government assistance. There may be government assistance available for businesses during this time. Check with your local government to see what is available in your area. Conclusion. The key for SMEs in Egypt to survive the quarantine and lockdown period is to have a plan and be prepared. By understanding the different financing options available, as well as the government support that is on offer, businesses can give themselves the best chance of weathering the storm. It is also important to keep communication channels open with employees, customers, and suppliers, in order to maintain relationships and keep everyone updated on developments. Media details. Company, Intasher. Email, info@intasher.com. Phone, +202244737444. Address, 4004 Al Malika Farida Street, Al Marag, Cairo, Egypt.